What if the seas themselves were ruled not by fish or whales, but by monstrous, tentacled predators that could reach out from the depths and drag early humans into a watery abyss? What if survival was not only about hunting on the plains, but about daring to face a shoreline where every ripple could conceal death? In this forgotten chapter of prehistory, 7.8 million years ago, life was not a story of quiet progress. It was a relentless struggle against creatures so vast and cunning they seemed like legends carved into the ocean itself. Could our ancestors endure, or would the sea claim them forever? The camera opens with a small band of Australopithecus gathered near a river mouth where the grasslands meet the coast. The tribe is weary from days of migration, their feet raw, their water pouches fashioned from folded leaves nearly empty. They wade carefully into the shallows, scooping up clams and crabs, beating stones against shells, desperate for protein to sustain their young. Children crouch in the tall reeds wide-eyed, as the adults work swiftly, glancing again and again toward the horizon where the ocean churns with unnatural force. Without warning, a shadow unfurls beneath the water. A sudden splash. One young hunter is pulled waist-deep into the tide. Panic explodes. The others rush forward, gripping at his arms, their stone tools flashing in the dim light, as tentacles rise from the surf-suckered limbs, pale and glistening, wrapping around his leg. This is no ordinary catch of the sea. It is a giant squid predator, a ruler of these waters, testing the weakness of land dwellers. The band screams without words, their raw voices echoing across the reeds. They hack with sharpened flakes of quartzite, their blows clumsy, but fueled by terror. The limb recoils at last, retreating into the foam, leaving behind a deep wound that bleeds into the salt water. The tribe drags the wounded hunter ashore. Instinct guides them. One tears broad leaves from the mangroves, another grinds bitter roots between her teeth to pack the gash. The smell of iron and salt mixes with the bitter medicine. They bind him, rocking gently, the tribe's survival bound to his own. Yet the sea is not finished. Far across the shallows, the surface boils. More shadows twist below, tentacles rising and sinking like ominous signals. The ocean itself seems alive, its rulers stirred by the scent of blood. The tribe knows they cannot remain here, not with hungry children, not with a wounded hunter slowing their march. They gather quickly, strapping baskets of fruit and bone tools onto their backs, lifting infants high on shoulders. The ocean whispers a threat that will follow them inland if they linger. But even on the move, danger stalks them. From the tall grass beyond the dunes, eyes gleam hyenas far larger than their modern descendants, attracted by the cries of the injured. The tribe is caught between two predators, the sea behind them, the open plains ahead. Survival now demands a choice, a test of unity and instinct. The tribe halts at the edge of the grasslands, breath ragged, every muscle taut. The injured hunter leans on the shoulders of his kin, blood seeping through the makeshift binding. The wind carries the sour musk of the hyenas, closing in their guttural laughter, rising and falling with the shifting breeze. Behind the surf still crashes with a rhythm that feels like pursuit. It is a trap laid by nature itself. To retreat is to face the tentacled monsters of the sea. To advance is to meet the gnashing jaws of the hyenas. The matriarch steps forward, her weathered body painted in dust and sweat, eyes narrowing. She raises a long branch hardened in fire, its tip sharpened into a crude spear. Her gesture is enough. The others fall into position, forming a semicircle around the wounded, the young, and the food supplies. Their tools are primitive stone flakes, pointed sticks, but unity is their true weapon. The hyenas break from the grass in a sudden charge, bodies massive and hunched, their jaws wide. The tribe roars in defiance. The clash is brutal and wordless. One hyena lunges, snapping its jaws around the forearm of a male hunter. Bones crunch. He screams, striking at its skull with his stone until the tool shatters, leaving a jagged shard embedded in the predator's flesh. Another hyena circles, trying to split the formation, but the matriarch's spear finds its flank. The beast yelps and recoils, blood streaking its fur. Yet the danger does not pass. More shadows flicker in the tall grass, and the tribe knows this skirmish is only the beginning. A sudden storm builds overhead, as if the world itself conspires to test them. Dark clouds roll in from the horizon, lightning tearing across the sky, thunder shaking the air. The hyenas hesitate, unnerved by the booming heavens. The tribe seizes the moment. They gather stones, hurling them with desperate force, their guttural cries matching the storm. The predators retreat for now, melting back into the grass, but not defeated. The land has only offered a temporary reprieve. Rain lashes the plain-soaking bodies, washing blood into the mud. The tribe presses on, following the river upstream, hoping to reach higher ground before the floodwaters rise. Each step is a battle against exhaustion. The injured stumble, but hands pull them upright again and again. Infants are shielded under leaves, their wide eyes reflecting lightning. The storm transforms the river into a torrent, branches and carcasses swept along its surface. At last, the tribe finds a rocky overhang, a shallow cave just high enough to offer shelter. They crowd inside, dripping, trembling, but alive. The matriarch crouches at the entrance, watching the storm's fury, knowing the sea and its monsters are only a day's march away, and the hyenas may return when hunger drives them closer. She does not relax, but her eyes soften as she watches the youngest gnaw on roasted tubers pulled from their baskets. Outside, thunder fades, and for a fleeting moment, the tribe breathes together. They have survived the tide's monsters. They have stood against the fangs of the grasslands. Yet the true trial still lies ahead, when the sea itself demands a final confrontation. Dawn breaks with a crimson glow, the storm washed away, but leaving the land heavy with mud and silence. The tribe emerges from the cave, cautious, scanning every shadow. Their wounded hunter stirs his arm and leg bound with leaves and resin, his breath shallow but steady. Survival has cost them dearly, yet the ocean still calls for its tide, promises not only danger, but sustenance. Hunger gnaws at their stomachs, sharper than fear. They march back toward the coast, wary of the hyenas that linger in the tall grass. The air smells of salt long before the sea comes into view, and with it the memory of tentacles in the surf. But the tribe is not the same as yesterday. They are marked by battle, strengthened by unity. At the shoreline, they gather driftwood and bones, lashing them with vines into crude spears and harpoons. The matriarch leads them into the shallows once more, where fish dart and shellfish cling to rocks. The children watch from the dunes, their eyes wide, with a mix of fear and hope. For a time, the ocean is calm. The tribe works quickly, prying clams, skewering small fish, until the water darkens again beneath them. Shadows move with intent. The predators have returned. A great tentacle bursts from the waves, wrapping around a harpoon, wrenching it away with terrifying strength. Another limb slams against the water, sending spray into the air. The tribe does not scatter. They close ranks, thrusting their weapons in unison. The matriarch drives her spear deep into the limb, and others follow, striking again and again. Blood clouds the surf, a crimson fog spreading across the tide. The beast writhes its limbs, lashing the air, then retreats into the deep with a final shudder. The waves calm the sea, reclaiming its silence. Exhaustion overtakes them, but in the aftermath comes triumph. They drag their catch ashore, fish, clams, and fragments torn from the predator itself, soft tissue rich with nourishment. A fire is kindled, smoke rising against the bright sky. Children laugh for the first time in many days, their bellies full. The wounded hunter is fed first, honored for his suffering. Around the fire, the tribe leans close, warmth and unity binding them stronger than fear. For tonight, they are more than prey. They are survivors, a people who faced both land and sea and endured. And though the ocean will always hide monsters beneath its surface, the story of their defiance will echo long after the waves have erased their footprints from the shore.